So, welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast. I'm your guest host, Ed Mickolus. Today, we have a very special guest, the creator of this podcast, writer of numerous award winning books, ghostwriter, writing coach, Sisters in Crime chapter president, and founder of Vendela Publishing, Lana McAra. We thought it was about time you learned something about the person who developed this podcast. Welcome, Lana.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ed, for volunteering to be the guest host today. This is really odd. I'm sitting in the other seat.
Well, just delighted to have you with us. David Copperfield starts off, I am born. Let's look at your bio and start off with your I am born. What's your backstory from birth on up to when you became a writer?
Oh, wow. That's a lot of territory there. I did a very extensive interview with the campfire. There was the campfire group that asked you to come and tell your story, and I will put a link to that in the description. But the short version is that I was born in Delaware, and I grew up in a small community, country community filled with Amish people, and many of them were my relatives. Although I wasn't Amish myself, I did have a lot of roots in the Amish community. So I come from a very um, country, close to the land type of background. That sounds very wholesome, but my family was very dysfunctional. There was alcoholism and abuse and a lot of challenges that I had growing up with the chaos that was around me. My desire was to be a good student, go to college, and change my life and get out of that, you know, dysfunction that I was in. And I thought I had a really, really terrific plan, and it worked. I worked my way through school. I did what I wanted to do and got married during senior year and found out that I had just jumped from the frying pan into the fire.
Where was
That
school?
happens a lot. Yeah.
Where was school?
Pensacola Christian College in Pensacola, Florida.
Cool.
Hmm. My major
So,
was in
what's
education.
okay? And then did you teach before you became a writer?
No, I got married before graduation, and so I went right into being a stay-at-home mom. Baby number one was on the way before graduation, and I just kept having babies 1 year, one a year pretty much. Um, 7 children in
Wow.
12 years. And
Wow.
so I occupied my life with children, from that point on. I never really thought about being a writer. It never occurred to me, and people ask me that all the time. Because you've written 48 books, did you always want to be a writer? And the answer is no. I didn't even think of it till I was on baby number 3. I think I was 24 years old at that time.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the coolest non-writing thing that you've done in your life?
I lived in the Caribbean for 14 years.
That counts. Where in the Caribbean?
Grenada, where Reagan sent the troops back in 1984.
Were you there to greet them?
No, we didn't go in until 3 years later. We went in 1987.
Okay.
But it was shortly after, and Grenada at that time had an open door policy for all Americans. They were so grateful
Hmm.
for deliverance that we got a stamp in our passport that said, as long as you're here doing humanitarian things, you get a free ride, really. So we never had to renew our visa whole 14 years.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So, what are your hobbies?
That's so funny. Writing, writing, and writing. I do enjoy walking in nature. I love to travel and go to fun places and see new things. I'm a bit of a foodie. Um, and I also do handcrafts. I crochet and the other things that people do. I paint. So I do love creating and crafting with my hands as well as, with my words.
Neat. So, speaking of your words, let's get into writing. Why did you become a writer and how'd you start? What was your first book?
Well, I became a writer because I was really bored when I was raising those kids. I had always taken a full load of classes in high school and college, challenging myself mentally. I loved research, I loved learning, and I got married and I had all those kids. And what am I doing now? I'm washing clothes and cleaning and cooking. I no mental stimulation at all. And so my mother-in-law, who I love dearly, my mother-in-law came over and she brought a stack of ladies' magazines with her. She had picked them up at the library. They were on a table, free, take these old magazines. And so she picked up a stack of them and brought them to me. Well, I wasn't really into ladies' magazines, but she left them there on the coffee table and went home. And I picked it up, picked up the first one, and it said, "You can write children's books." It was a full page infomercial. And I looked at that and thought, I have all these kids. Maybe I could write children's books. That would be kind of fun. Put that down. Now I don't like to write. I hated my college papers. Hated college papers. That was the last thing I thought I would ever be as a writer. And so then I picked up the next one. There's a full page infomercial. You can write children's books. I thought, there must be something here. I'm seeing this. So there was this little coupon. This was in 1982, by the way. A little coupon that you clipped out, filled it out, put it in the mail, and to see if you had an aptitude. It was a request for a free aptitude test. And so I got the aptitude test. They said, "Oh, you could do very well at this." And the cost of the course was $300. Well, at the time, my husband was working for $7,000 a year as a Christian school teacher. $300 might as well been 10,000. It was way out of sight, but somehow we did it. Somehow we did. I brought it to him. I felt like I was asking for a Cadillac, because he was the only income earner at the time. And we did it, and I took the course. And what I found out was that I love creative writing. I do not like academic writing, and they're two very different things.
Absolutely. So what was the first book?
I had an idea because my mother had a friend, a college friend, that was, they had a situation where it was a marriage of convenience, where these two engaged people, this couple, met this couple from another country who was there on a student visa. And so they made this plan that these two couples would marry each other, the opposite partner, so that the foreign students could stay in the country. I know people do that all the time. That's something that happens. But what happened to these people was their partners in crime disappeared. They left the area. They couldn't find them. They were searching. They hired private detectives. They could not find these people. They wanted to get divorces and marry each other.
Okay.
And back in those days, it wasn't as easy. And so it took them 5 years to actually marry each other. But I thought, what a great idea to have a marriage of convenience, and things go wrong. And, so that got my wheels spinning. And it was based on a true story.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are your favorite authors and genres, both to read as well as to write?
I love thrillers and mysteries. I write cozy mysteries. And some of my favorites were Greg Iles, and based in Mississippi, and I lived in Mississippi for a while. And David Baldacci, he writes really good thrillers. John Grisham, I loved him. And of course, the old favorites, Agatha Christie. I just demolished all of the mysteries back in the day before I started writing. Once I started writing, my time was spent more on writing, and I would pick up a book once in a while as a treat. I picked up a book by Lucy Foley called The Guest List, and that was in an airport because my plane was delayed 4 or 5 hours, and I had nothing to do, and so I went and picked up this book in the airport bookstore and fell in love with this young author, Lucy Foley. And look up The Guest List. She has such a fresh approach, and she's such a great writer. She had a mystery where you don't know who gets killed until the end. So you don't know the victim and you don't know the killer until the very end of the book, which I found fascinating. And she pulled it off. It's no
Hmm.
wonder she's a best-selling author. All kinds of accolades. Yeah.
How clever. On what topics do you write? Do you do fiction and nonfiction?
I mostly write fiction. Of course, I'm a ghostwriter as well. My ghostwriting is mostly nonfiction, but my own writing is primarily fiction. I write, well, in my first set of books, which is about 10, 14. I always have to go back and recount. It's around 10. One time I actually got a legal pad and I did a list because I wanted an actual solid number.
Sure,
Because
sure.
I get mixed up. So my first 10 or so was Western romances with
Hmm.
a mystery. And I was writing for a romance line. That was my first gig. My first book was accepted by a romance line, and I was rolling out 2 or 3 books a year for quite a while. And I added the mystery as my own brand because they were just a romance line, but they did like the mysteries, and my readers loved those books. And so the romance line selected the first 4 of the series, put it into one bundle, and published it as a mass market paperback. And it was in Walmart as a physical book on the shelf for 15 months. And it sold 250,000 copies. So
Amazing.
that series was working for me. It was really working for me. But then other things happened and interrupted that set of books. And I probably would have written 25 or 30 of them, but my life got interrupted. And that one, that one kind of faded, and I went on to write other things.
Can you go back?
No, the publisher shut down that imprint. So it's no longer there. Now I'm publishing my own books
Right.
myself now. And yes, that's a good possibility. Stay
Oh,
tuned.
good. Okay. Um, of which book are you the proudest?
Reaping the Whirlwind.
Which is about,
It is a historical novel about the Scopes evolution trial.
hmm,
A lot of people don't even know about it anymore, but in 1925, there was a landmark case in Dayton, Tennessee, to test a new law that said it was against the law to teach evolution in the public schools. So Tennessee passed this law, and immediately the ACLU put out a call for someone to stand as a test case because the ACLU was going to take that to the Supreme Court to test it. Is it okay for a state to make it illegal to teach evolution in the public schools? Well, obviously, you know who won because they're teaching it now. But this young man, John Scopes, was entangled in this whole deal, and he stood as the defendant when he had never taught evolution, didn't even know what it was. So I found out about this bogus story and this rewritten history, American history rewritten for us. And I got really inspired to tell the true story. But the court case was a little bit, got to say the word, boring. It was a little boring.
hmm.
All the legal speak and the objections and all this. It wasn't like a courtroom drama today, right? So when I got the trial transcript, I realized I needed to add something. So I added a fiction mystery of a serial killer in Dayton during the trial events. And so the serial killer part is very interesting, and it keeps you going because you want to find out who the next victim is and also who the killer is. But it brings some life into the story, and it also exemplifies the fact that all life has meaning. That was really the subject of the court case. Are we here by accident, or does every person's life have meaning? And the mystery exemplified that, because the killer is killing people on the fringes of
Hmm.
society that some people would say that their life has no meaning, but those people would be wrong.
And what's the topic of your next book? To the
That's such a
extent that
good
you've got
question.
time to write.
Yeah. Um, I'm about to put out a book called Run Cindy Run, which is a contemporary thriller. It's a technical suspense novel where a girl is caught up in this race to get the secret to this missile system. It's very high tech. Um, and so I'm excited. It's something different that I haven't done before, and I'm really excited to get that out. That'll be coming out probably end of the year.
Excellent. Just in time for Christmas gift giving?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific. You mentioned that you ghost. Without naming names, what types of clients do you ghost for?
Generally speaking, there's someone with a business who has something to teach about what they do. I did a book for a project management company who had a different approach to project management. I've done two books for medical doctors talking about their expertise and informing the public of options, that they may not realize they have. I've done many prescriptive memoirs where someone is using their life story to show their coaching expertise in different topics, and maybe how they came through some challenge and how they're helping people now. I did a book on leadership by someone who was in the fire service, who got in trouble and lost his standing, and how he brought himself back. That was a beautiful book that I really loved writing. So that was kind of a prescriptive memoir, but he was doing leadership coaching. So I've ghostwritten 21 books up until this
Wow.
point. Yeah.
How did you get into it?
Oh, it was so interesting how that happened. I always say the universe just, brings people together. Yes, those synchronicities that happen. I got a divorce in 2009. That was one interruption in my writing career. I had actually two. And when I got a divorce, I could not write. I didn't write a word for 5 years. I
Hmm.
thought I'd left that part of my career behind me. And I was doing marketing. I was working for a marketing, I had my marketing company of my own, and I was also working for companies doing their marketing. So I thought I was done. I was standing in a big hotel in Las Vegas, waiting for a shuttle bus. This was a 5-day event. It was a massive event called CEO Space. And I'd gone out there to enroll marketing clients. And I was standing next to this round table with this 10-foot tall flower arrangement, they do in Las Vegas. I was tired. 4 days of this networking, and there was a lady standing next to me. We were leaning against this table waiting for the shuttle bus. I was too tired to really talk. I didn't even ask her anything. She said to me, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I have a marketing company, and I'm here getting clients for my marketing company." I said, "What do you do?" She said, "I am a book broker. I connect people with ghostwriters."
Hmm.
I went, "Oh, at that point, I've written 27. I've written 27 books. I would love to be a ghostwriter." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I need ghostwriters." And I gave her my card. She gave me her card. We went to our separate shuttle buses and connected later. And the rest is history. I started editing for her in 2015. I went full time as a ghostwriter. She sends
Hmm.
me the majority of my clients. I get clients individually, independently, some of them from LinkedIn and other places. But that was a moment. That was one of those, you
Hmm.
know, get goosebump type of moments.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Is there an association of ghostwriters that someone could join?
Yes, there is. There is. But I don't belong to it. So I can't really tell you. I know it's
Okay,
out
then.
there. Yeah.
Okay. You do a lot of coaching and teaching as well. What courses are you currently offering?
I have, when I won the Christie Award, I started a course, which was a correspondence course back in the day. So I've been running this course since 2001, so 24
Wow.
years. When I got a divorce, of course, everything shut down. And so I shut the course down too. And then about 4 years ago, I started it back up, but I took it and adapted it to be online. So now I have an online course. It's called How to Write a Novel That Sells, and it is available at howtowriteanovelthatsells.com. It's 8 modules, which is the same material I've been teaching all these years, embellished, because of course we continue learning, right?
Okay.
And all my worksheets are in there. That's why I write so quickly. I have worksheets and I work a system. I have a system. So, how to write a novel that sells.com. And I could not give up the personal interaction I had with my students. I just could not talk to them. So I have,
Understood. Sure.
yeah, I have writing labs. Once a month, we do a writing lab. All the students come in, bring me 500 words of their work. We go through it together as a class, and it's an amazing time. And what I've run into, Ed, recently is that I have some graduates who come to me after the course is done and they say, I don't want to quit. How can I keep coming to the writing labs? So I started,
Heartwarming for you.
it is, it's so powerful to have your own work examined, but also the other students learn from what
Sure.
I'm dealing with, the one that's on stage, but everyone learns. And it's
Sure.
just a great way to interact with the students. So yes, I had to, by demand, start a subscription to writing labs because they just didn't want to leave. Yeah.
Are you developing any other courses?
Not at this time.
Okay. You're now into podcasting. How'd you start?
Well, when I started the writing course back up online, I realized that I have been in the ghostwriting world for 10 years. People in my network don't know me as a fiction author. They know me as a ghostwriter because I hadn't written anything for 10 years. So I thought, the best way for me to get back out there as a fiction expert, which I am, is to do a podcast. So that's when I started it. I started it around 2 years ago. I think it's almost exactly 2 years ago that I started the podcast. Yeah.
Okay. We can get rid of this in post. I'm getting your connection is unstable. So for what that's worth.
Okay.
Okay. Back to, so what kind of guests are you booking for your podcasts?
I book fiction authors to talk about their writing journey, to give any tips. I've had some great material come through from these authors. They have their own way of doing things, their own connections, their own approaches. And then at the end of the interview, we talk a little about their book, give them a chance to highlight their book, what's coming up. Occasionally, very rarely, I will interview someone who works with authors, with fiction authors, and they give some of their expertise. Recently, I interviewed someone who chose to do self-fulfillment. This, I never met anybody that does this, but he prints his own books with a print shop and markets his own books, and he sends them to Amazon as a business, like they're fulfilled by business, not Amazon printing them. And so I wanted to find out, how's that working for you? And he's had some really good material there. His name is Cat Ballou, and you can look him up. He's only a few episodes previous to this one. So he's not technically a fiction author. His book is a children's book. But I thought what he had to offer was really amazing material. So I brought him in.
Terrific. What guests and topics do you have coming up?
Oh, a wide range of
Have at it.
Yeah. I don't have the schedule in front of me because here's the secret. I have interviews recorded from now until the end of the year. So I have 6 months of interviews recorded right now. And that is 4 times 6 is 24 interviews coming up, and they're all amazing, amazing, amazing. So subscribe so you'll get the notifications.
Okay. You're also local president of Sisters in Crime. What are you planning for the next several sessions?
Oh, wow. Sisters in Crime has been such a tremendous blessing. I love that group. I just adore those women. And we have a few men. Ed's one of them. We say sisters and misters. And I can think of 3 men right now that are members and attend. And so
it's open to anyone.
It's open to anyone. It's also open to people who don't write. It's open to readers. it's also open to people who write things besides mystery novels, because it's Sisters in Crime. You think of mystery crime novels, but anyone can join, because what we're doing, what our chapter's doing, not all Sisters in Crime chapters do this, but we chose to interview subject matter experts. So we have people come in and they talk about what it's like to be a female private eye. They talk about CIA, which Ed, you've been a speaker for us. We have people talking about how to disappear. How do you erase your presence from this earth if you want to disappear? Psychologists talking about how to create villains using psychology. They're just a lot of different, very interesting topics. And we rotate them out every year. We don't repeat. There's only one person we repeated in the last 18 months, and that is a guy who has a nonprofit for cold cases in Florida. So he's local. He does cold cases. We love having him come to talk about cases that are now under his scrutiny, and the things that they've done, the cases that they've solved. It's very interesting.
Yeah, he's
So that's
fascinating.
what Sisters in Crime is all about. It's about bringing actionable material, and we've set up an archive where if you are researching a topic, you can go into our archives and listen to our speakers who maybe have been speaking about a topic that you are looking for.
Oh, terrific. I'll get to that this afternoon then. I'm doing a new book with Tracy Tripp, whom I think you've met.
Yes.
You interviewed us a while back, as a matter of fact, on faking your own death and companies that will do that to help you. So there you are. You're also working on creating this new publishing house, which sounds fascinating, called Vendela. Where'd you get the name Vendela?
And that's an interesting thing that just came to me. Roses, the idea of roses, and I was looking for a rose icon that we could use. And so I started researching the names of roses, because roses have such a wide variety of names. And I thought, well, let's look at wedding bouquets, because wedding bouquets are so appealing. And I found out that the Vendela rose is a very elite rose used in wedding bouquets. It has a kind of off-white color with a pink center. And so that makes it very popular. And so Vendela Publishing was born with the Vendela rose, and our icon is the rose. Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So what's unique about the house? What services does it offer that, say, I wouldn't find anywhere else?
I ran into a situation where I had my 10 titles released back to me by the publisher. They've been out of print for years, and I couldn't find a place to put them. I didn't want to go traditional and give up my rights again. I didn't want to do hybrid because, hey, I've got 10 titles of times what they're charging now, $8,000 to $10,000 each. So we're talking $100,000, in expense to get them published. I wasn't going to do that. So I just puttered around for a year and a half trying to figure it out. So what I did was I took what I would love to see happen and I created it. I went into Ingram, which is the Amazon of bookstores, and I found out the criteria to become a bona fide publisher with them. And so I went over and I created an entity that matched their requirements. An LLC, we're actually in business, we have income, we're publishing books. And so created this model. So this model is where we will publish Amazon books, indie author Amazon books. I don't know of any other publisher that will do that. So we will take your Amazon book, put it out as a second edition through Ingram, get you into bookstores and libraries and schools, and give you the training that you need to take advantage of that. We will also call the publisher now, we'll call bookstores and libraries in your area and see if they will schedule book signings. Because these bookstores, when they find out you're an indie author, or even not an indie author with a publisher, they are shooing authors out the door. I think that's terrible. But if the publisher calls the company and says, we have a local author in your area, this is a great book, you really ought to have them in. And if they do it, some bookstores don't host authors at all. But if they do it, we can have a better chance of landing a deal with them than you would have as the author just walking in cold. So that's
absolutely,
a service
you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Well, we're including that, no extra charge.
Terrific.
Part of what we do. Yes.
What titles and oh, go ahead. Sorry.
There's only one criteria. That's another important point, because traditional publishers want massive reach. They want you to have 100,000 plus on your social media. They want massive email lists, and they look at open rates. They're very concerned about that. Hybrids want money, a lot of money. And what really struck me as I was creating this company was that none of that has anything to do with the quality of the book. Social media does not affect the quality of the book. Money does not affect the quality of the book. I think that's why we see so many books coming out and we read them and we go, really? Really? That came out? So we have one criteria, a quality book. And so when you submit a book to Vendela, it goes through a health check. We put it through an analysis. We have editors that look at it. And then we will come back to you with a report on your book and suggestions of how you can make it better to come up to the standard that we're looking for, because our one criteria is quality. So we will help you get that quality book. You can take our suggestions, go find an editor, work on it yourself, whatever you want to do, and bring it back again and submit again. So that is a hugely beneficial characteristic of our publishing company that helps authors get to where they need to go. Now, we have a few books that have been submitted that definitely meet the criteria. They're great books. And so then we put that through the publishing process. And if the author already has a cover and layout done, because it's already on Amazon, they don't pay for that again. We have a a la carte rate, and right now the rate is $1,500 to publish with Vendela. So we're not here for your money. we're not trying to take advantage of your enthusiasm, which is what I find happens with authors all the time. These people are out there, they know you've worked hard, they know you have your heart in it, and they're just ready to take your money. And that's not what we're all about. We're about success. And so we do not keep any royalties, and we do not keep any rights. The author keeps all the royalties, all the rights, all the creative control, and we will help you make sales. So I don't know how it gets any better than that, but there's one more phase to it. Once you come in, you become a member of our membership. And the membership, and just today I was scheduling people to teach in our membership. We have a meeting every week. You don't have to attend, but you can attend. And it's loaded with training and resources and connections and all kinds of things to help you as your book comes out. And that membership is $100 a month. And that's how we're paying the bills, by the membership. So you're not paying $10,000 up front to cover all of our bills for the next X number of years. We're doing it on a monthly basis. It's so much easier for people to do that payment plan rather than trying to come up with a mortgage on the house to get the $10,000. And I talked to somebody recently, $25,000 to get their book published, and they paid it. They paid it. That's mortgage money. That's what I see. I see mortgages on houses coming out to get these books out. We're not interested in that. $100 a month pays our bills. We're giving you value for that. That's what we are all about. So thank you for opening that door for me to say.
And for how long is someone locked into that $100 a month?
1 year.
Okay.
After the year is over, you can drop down to the maintenance fee, which is $37 a month. That helps us get the reports out, pay the royalties, get the office staff paid for what they do. So $37 a month maintenance. After that, if you want to stay in and continue to take classes and all that, you can. It's up to you. But the other piece of it is this rate is the same. It doesn't matter if you have 10 books with us or one book with us. It's still $100 a month. So don't feel like if I have five books, it's going to be 500 a month. No, it's by the author, not by the book.
Okay. And after you're on the $37, is that forever or for a year?
That's forever, as long as you want the book with us.
Okay. Okay. And you have a spectacular mailing list as well that makes you really attractive. Can you talk about that for a while?
Oh, the mailing list. I think the secret to a mailing list is delivering valuable information and also being a human being, being personable, opening up your heart, sharing your heart with people and your own struggles in the writing, with the writing world. My mailing list is primarily authors because I work with authors in the ghostwriting and in the teaching, my course, and now with the publishing. I'm just starting my reader because I'm just coming back into publishing my own books again. My reader mailing list is not that robust, but I find that when I wake up in the middle of the night worrying about something, my mind often goes to, how could I share this with others that they would be helped? And those are the most successful emails that I put out.
As I recall, you had mentioned that you had a list of 39,000 outlets, bookstores, libraries, etc., that you get as a Vendela member.
Yes.
Which to me, that makes you incredibly attractive.
Thank you. That goes along with the uploading. So when we upload a book, we upload it directly to Amazon, optimized. I know a lot of publishers just throw stuff up there. They're not optimizing. Directly to Ingram. And then there is a service that distributes to 39,000 outlets. So then you get the big push for that. And we have a strategy, which I'm not going to share today, but we have a strategy for getting the attention of those people. It is a launch strategy that's used by the big five in New York. That's how they put out a book. What the indie authors are doing as launch is nothing like what Simon and Schuster and those people up there in New York are doing. And I've been in this industry for a long time. I came up through traditional. I know what they're doing. And we're going to teach our authors how to do it. Yeah, it's available. You can do it too.
Terrific. What kind of genres or just topics are you looking for?
We're doing a broad range of fiction topics. We are not doing erotica, and we are not doing anything with extreme violence or abuse. Some of these dark things that are coming, out, we're not publishing anything that's going to make people, have a negative effect on people. So, but that's the only restriction. We could do horror as long as it's, not somebody like sawing people with a chainsaw or something.
Okay.
Yeah, we are also doing a nonfiction now, Ed. I don't think I told you about
Hello.
that. Yeah, we have launched our nonfiction imprint. It's called Wild Eve, and Wild Eve is a pink rose. Yeah, and then we're also going into large print.
Bravo.
Yes.
What titles do you have out already?
We're working on some right now. One of them is called There's a Tortoise in My Hair. I love that title. That's a great title. It is a novel, but it is based on personal experience, fun book. The other one is called Run, Cindy, Run, which I just talked about. And then we have submissions coming in on a regular basis. And we have several people who have notes, when they come back, we'll be ready for them. So I'm waiting for another, green light winner to come through and get put right into the stream. So, yeah.
Terrific. We'll have to come back and chat about it 6 months, 12 months down the road on how Vendela is doing.
Yeah.
Maybe just develop a podcast on that. So what haven't we discussed that you want to make sure that we cover?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you, Ed, for volunteering to interview me. You suggested it, you reminded me, and I'm very appreciative for that. I rarely get to talk about what I'm doing. I interview other people and I want them to shine, on my podcast. So I truly do appreciate that. And one of the things that I would like to share that has been true in my life and that is to look at what we're doing as a long game. This is a career. I know people write in retirement. That's okay. But just look at it as a long game. It's like a new career that's from your heart. It's something you love to do. So, let's just get in there and just keep pecking away at it. Not just the writing piece, but the marketing piece. I went to the library and took a class. The class was it was already there, but they did not have a teacher because their teacher was sick. She got cancer and she had to drop out. And so I took that class and I got nothing back for it for well over a year, about a year and a half. And I just did it because I love teaching. I love teaching fiction. And I was teaching these young authors, these new authors, are not all young, but they're new, about the craft I love. And now that group is vibrant. We have 18 people. They're coming from an hour away to attend the class. So
Wow.
look at what you're doing with different vision. I know people get really discouraged. We go to these book tables, we don't sell any books, but we don't really think about the fact that we made a connection with the host of the event. We made connections with some other authors who were there. We made connections with maybe some people who just passed by and stopped to chat a minute and walked on. There is always something. And if you want to be in that arena, then the long game is the way to do it. When you keep showing up, people begin to realize you're here to stay. You're not just here for, flash in the pan, take a few bucks and run kind of a thing. This is actually a passion. It's actually something you love to do, but it's where you love to be. I love to be with authors. They're some of the most fascinating people I know.
Terrific. Well, let's get another plug in for you. How can our listeners learn more about your product line? What website should they check out?
I've got a few. One of them is howtowriteanovelthatsells.com. If you go to howtowriteanovelthatsells.net, that is the book, because I launched a book. That's my one nonfiction book of my own that is based on the course. Lana McAra.com gives you a wide spectrum of things that I do and things that I offer. And then Vendela Publishing.com is the publishing company.
Terrific. Well, it's been a delight, as always, chatting with you. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much.